Hello, and welcome to the WBAP 820-570 KLIF Weather Podcast from the Cumulus Broadcast Center in Dallas-Fort Worth. I'm Chief Meteorologist Brad Barton. We're on today because within 24 hours, there's going to be at least a brush with severe weather across North Texas. I don't want to overemphasize that. I want to just give you the facts as I can figure them out. Looks like most of the bad weather is going to be up in Oklahoma and maybe the Arklatex. However, we could see some strong storms moving in shortly before daybreak Thursday morning across the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So that's why we're on today. And that's how this podcast is working out to be. It's kind of event-driven. Normally, we like to do it once a week, but when we have new weather events coming in, then we try to, bring that to you a little bit earlier. Let's start off with our visible satellite loop right now. Our visible satellite loop this morning shows Gulf moisture moving up in force. Those are those low clouds down underneath the high clouds moving from southwest to northeast. We'll get to those in just a minute, but the low clouds certainly indicate Gulf moisture moving up in force, and that's what we have needed for some time. After several days of windy wildfires and grass fires all across North Texas. So we're getting Gulf moisture in here, more humidity, and we've needed it for a while. And we also see the high-level clouds moving in from the southwest. Now, that's the vanguard of our upper-level storm system moving this way from the southwest. But the south to north transport of Gulf moisture is pretty important, not only to quench the wildfires, but it will also produce some much-needed rain here. You know, since the first of the year, we've had just 0.13 of an inch of rain. That's since January 1st in Dallas-Fort Worth. Tarrant, Johnson, and Denton County are all in severe drought right now, and we have the scorched earth to show for it. All right, here's the national radar image from this morning. Again, the Oregon storm system is kind of broken apart that we saw a couple of days ago. Most of it has dived on down into the desert southwest, but some of it is still producing some snow in the Rockies from Montana on down through Denver into the Dakotas, even into Scottsbluff, Nebraska, and a little bit of rain down Arizona. But that's where the business end of this storm system is now spinning. It's over Arizona, and it is moving this way. Now, this is our Storm Prediction Center slight risk of severe weather area. Okay, it runs from Dallas-Fort Worth roughly along I-20 and I-30. That's the southern border, and then moves on up through much of Oklahoma. That area has been sliding northward over the last 2 or 3 runs, and it may not include the Dallas-Fort Worth area when it's updated later on today or tonight or early tomorrow. But in the meantime, we will have an upper-level storm system near us. It will have a negative tilt. It will have a strong, a lot of wind shear in the lower levels, and we could see some strong thunderstorms moving through the Dallas-Fort Worth area during the morning rush hour, actually, between 5 and 7 o'clock. So that's something you have to be ready for early tomorrow morning. Now, let's look at our upper-level forecast models. And the reason our thunderstorm forecast is somewhat marginal right now is that this particular storm system, as you see it, it's kind of wound up over Arizona, and then it stretches out and weakens as it moves rapidly to the northeast. So that's why we think the severe weather threat will be somewhat marginal early tomorrow morning, but we can't discount it entirely altogether. Now, this is a shorter loop. This is basically from 6 o'clock Wednesday night through 6 o'clock Thursday morning, and that shows you where the storm system will be in relationship to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and that's why it could set off some widely scattered showers and storms. Looks like the heaviest storms will be up in Oklahoma and Arkansas, maybe even Kansas, with some icing. But the Dallas-Fort Worth area still, for now at least, is under the severe weather slight risk category. Okay, now let's go ahead and zoom in on the predictive precipitation model for the South Plains. You can see snow across western Kansas, maybe some icing across Wichita, maybe into Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and then the heavier rains moving from West Texas into the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and this particular model ends at 6 o'clock Thursday morning. So between 6 and 7, I think, is when we're going to have this line of thunderstorms move through, and it will move out of the area pretty quickly tomorrow morning. But again, this is something that, we're going to have to watch to just see how strong some of these storms may well be. Now, here's a National Weather Service graphic that I think you'll find fairly helpful. Note that we can't rule out any particular hazard of severe weather, including damaging straight-line winds overnight, isolated hail, even a brief spin-up of an isolated tornado. Not likely to be a big tornado threat at all, but when you have a front of storms coming through like this, you can get what we call leading-edge spin-ups, and that's certainly possible. You'll probably start hearing thunder off to the west maybe after 3 tomorrow morning, and then the storms, even if they're not severe, will likely come through between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the morning, so they could be coming through at a very inconvenient time while you're trying to get to work or school, and probably after 8, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, the rain will be out. A trailing cold front will be blowing through with some force, and temperatures will be dropping into the 40s during the day tomorrow, and we're expecting a low in the 20s tomorrow night. Now, let's give you a quick look at the weather maps, national weather maps across the country for today, Wednesday. Again, the rain and thunderstorms will be moving in late tonight through early tomorrow morning. Snow in the Rockies, mixed precipitation through the plains, and some heavier rains through the mid-south. Now, tomorrow, this is Thursday, the storms will move east of the Dallas-Fort Worth area and could actually be more likely severe, especially when they hit some areas Thursday afternoon. That's something that the Storm Prediction Center is keeping a very, very close eye on. Still some mixed precipitation from the plains on up into the Great Lakes tomorrow, and some routine snows across the northern tier of states. Okay, and here is our weather map for Friday. Things have calmed down pretty much across the midsection of the country. We're still getting rain along the eastern seaboard, some snow across the Great Lakes, and some mixed precipitation in Maine. But that should leave us in pretty good shape for the weekend, although there will be another storm system coming through the first part of next week. So, once again, here is the severe weather risk tonight through early tomorrow. Slight severe weather risk across the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which may be reduced to a marginal risk later today or tonight. We'll continue to watch that for you. But in the meantime, we're still under that slight risk. Not now, but again, late tonight, after midnight, through early tomorrow morning. And let me remind you of something. That you should have a weather alert radio that alarms you in the middle of the night or whenever a severe weather alert is issued for this area. Think about it. I mean, you have a smoke alarm, like a fire alarm. You probably have a carbon monoxide alarm, too. But when was the last time you had a fire or a carbon monoxide leak? Doesn't happen very often. Now, when was the last time a severe storm blew through your neighborhood? Well, just a few months ago, probably. It happens all the time. So please get a weather alert radio. They're easy to order online. In the meantime, if the weather wakes you up in the middle of the night, then just turn on WBAP 820 AM, because I'll probably be there. We originate all of the emergency weather alert messages for North Texas because we are the primary emergency alert station for North Texas. Now, here's a local forecast. We're going to be windy and humid today with some spotty showers mainly to the east today. High 72, south winds 30 miles per hour and gusty. Rain and thunderstorms after midnight with a low of 58. Some of the storms could be severe. We think the worst of them will be over by 6, 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then clearing, windy, and turning cooler the rest of the day, with temperatures falling through the 40s to a low near 29 at DFW Airport. By Friday morning, we could be in the lower 20s from Denton to McKinney. Winds will be out of the northwest behind this cold front tomorrow, 20, 35, and gusty. Friday will be sunny and cool with a high near 55 and a low of 33. Saturday, sunny and warmer with a high of 65. And we'll be in the upper 60s on Sunday. Thanks so much for joining us again today for the WBAP KLIF Weather Podcast from the Cumulus Broadcast Center in Dallas-Fort Worth. Chief Meteorologist Brad Barton. Thanks again.